Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the VFX Nomads podcast. We are here with the full crew. It's been a few months. I think the last time we filmed this was in January or something. And there's been quite a few updates. Adrian, what's happening in your world?
Most relevant updates. I made AP Kombucha.
Ooh. That's more important on the priority list. That's more
That's
important.
the life you've been growing on the side.
And AI met with me. I'll tell the story later. And I had a baby. So it's been an intense.
In order of importance, yeah.
The kombucha was top.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Oh, that's great.
So many new variables.
Man.
Josh, do you have anything?
Go on, G. You go for it, Matt. G's got a beautiful T-shirt. He's been given a beautiful T-shirt. What an update that is.
Does this look familiar to anyone?
Looks like VFX Nomads.
I think so.
G's selling
nice
knockoffs in
VFX.
Japan.
Nomad, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
200 yen gets you one.
Yeah.
It's some merch.
I got a new shirt, and besides that, I've been working my butt off, but we can talk more about that later.
Oh, man. As a senior composer, right? You're not souping or anything at the moment?
I'm not souping, and yet I still feel like I've spent the amount of energy that a supervisor.
Oh, man. You're a pro.
That's
You're a
intense.
pro.
You're really comping hard.
2 whack-ons. Let's go.
Josh, any update from you, actually?
Not really. I've been making plywood kitchen stuff, cabinet doors and stuff in my spare time. So that's been fun.
Not mahogany or oak? Or
Not
just
mahogany.
plywood?
It's too expensive.
Therapeutic
Plywood's easier. If
now.
you fuck up, you can just swap it out. It's pretty cheap. So,
Nice.
so yeah, that's what I've been doing: sanding and oiling plywood.
And the best video memes ever on the internet.
And video memes, yes, and fucking around with AI and stuff.
And pretty good Gen AI stuff we could show later. The London thing was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's worth to talk about it.
Yeah. My big update is that I'm now at ILP. So I started a few months ago, and it's going well. And so yeah, that's my update. So, yeah, it's a pretty big one. I'm excited. Everyone's been really nice so far, and I'm really happy to be there. So yeah,
you and Josh are colleagues now?
we are colleagues, although we're on different projects, so we only have to talk on the side and huddle
We
together.
requested it. We wanted to keep things professional, didn't we, Tony? So we were
I
like,
can't
you know
handle
what?
both of us on one show. It's just-
Exactly.
the world would,
It's our meetings would just
it'd
turn
be
into
too
a
much
podcast
profit.
otherwise.
The brief
yeah.
moments that Tony and I were colleagues within the past couple of years, I think you got tired of me sending you stupid memes all the time. So,
Never.
Josh, it's a heads up. If you start sending Tony too many stuff, he will ignore you.
Oh, dude, I'll send them.
Oh man. Yeah. So let's talk about first of all, if I want to stay on that meme topic, because Josh, you made probably the best meme of all time, which is the toilet meme where the client is shifting over to the left and over to the right, except now the guy's using Gen AI, and every time he just says move it to the left and right, it changes into a completely new toilet.
Josh made that?
Yeah, have you not seen it on LinkedIn?
No, I've
Every now and
I've
then I
seen
like
it.
to,
I
like,
didn't
shit
realize
post.
you made it.
Yeah.
It's becoming a legend status.
I need to. Well, I had the Kanye West IBK rap, and I was like, how
That
can
was
I?
Yeah.
How can I ruin my career more? So I was like, oh yes, the toilet meme. Let's go there. So yeah, that was fun using AI for memes.
You probably
So do you use AI to make the toilet meme?
You know what's funny? Dell sent me a computer. They're kind of sponsoring me a little bit because they've seen what I'm doing with AI. So I was like, I've got this not quite nice computer now with a NVIDIA 6000 Blackwell in it. And I was using that to make the meme. It felt a little bit like it's, a waste
meme.
of the use, but
I don't think so. It's a great use case.
Oh, there you go. Updating memes, one meme at a time. But I think that actually this kind of comes to a maybe more important point, which is I do think you have to remember what we do sometimes, right? Like it's very easy to get caught in the kind of technical side of things, but actually it is kind of a bit silly, the job we do, and a bit ridiculous, right? So I think it's important to remember that. I think there's some people that I've met in my career who kind of somehow figure out a way to not have fun in this industry and kind of take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Not only
on a
that,
serious
but
note.
you've also touched, I think, a point that is maybe pretty obvious to anybody that's working in right now because AI is very hyped. But like, it is very difficult to like maneuver it without changing the entire thing, or like it's probably hitting the head on a nail of a lot of people right now.
I mean, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I was teaching a guy was working like on generative AI ad space. Like, that was his job. He was a comper, and he was working on those. And he was like, basically what's happening is all these studios that are generating stuff, they are making out as if it's as easy as putting a prompt in and you get the video you want because you generate tokens, right? Or they're going to use tokens and that costs money. And it's basically like being at the casino. And you're rolling, like, it's like, do you want to roll the dice again to see if you get what you want, right? Like all this kind of thing. And they make it out like in the next 4 or 5, you're going to get this thing correct. And it's just not the case. And he was saying, well, actually, I think they probably spent more now on tokens. But once you've picked that route, there's no going back. So yeah, it's, as you say, it's pretty hard. Once you start using these tools, you realize the limitations of them. And I think that meme shows it pretty clearly.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Adrian, you have any cheesecake for us today? To show off?
Today, man. I wish I had like more minutes in my day to do stuff. It's like
I'm sure you've been pretty busy.
Where did the idea to make kombucha come from?
I probably spent more in kombucha than Josh's client's company in credits. So I was like, I really need to make my own
Kombucha's like
kombucha.
tokens.
I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I became like a fan of kombucha last year, but I was buying it from the supermarket, and it's like so expensive, like 3 euros for like a glass, and like a 3/4 liter bottle is like 8 euros, something like that. So it's like a bit too much. So I started like researching it. And
Have you got like the SCOBY mushroom thing and all this kind of thing? And they have to feed it like green tea or something, isn't it?
Yeah. So you make like some green tea with sugar, which is what the bacteria feed off, and then you just leave it for like 2 weeks or something, and then the thing becomes like thicker, and then you split it in two, and then you can give one away or something.
Man, did you get yours from somewhere specifically?
I purchased it from a Portuguese company. It's called My M-A-Y Kombucha. No, M-A-I, sorry, Kombucha. And they sell like and send to Europe very cheap.
And was that your logo on the bottle?
Yeah. So
it makes it tax expensible, G. Adrian puts his logo on everything, so it's like, oh yeah. It's all tax expert.
No, so I made those logos for the cheesecake, which reached the I'm proud of status, and then I had so many logos.
He just has extra logos. He's slapping on everything. His baby.
Look.
The first person I know that was making their own kombucha was actually Johnny Goo. Johnny, he was doing it like years before it was popular.
It was cool.
Before it was cool. And I was like, dude, what is that? What are you growing? And he was like, oh, it's all the rage. It's gonna go. I think I had his first, and I was like, damn. Like, didn't know you could grow your own stuff. It seems so strange, but it's cool.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Is that not a big thing in Japan? They don't even try it?
Nah. I mean, we're too busy exporting matcha out here, so...
Oh, yeah. I feel like it would really stick there. I don't know. I feel like that's exactly the kind of place where that type of thing would go.
G can be
viral.
an AP kombucha salesman in Japan. He can do it.
Oh, kombucha in, socks out.
Yes. Oh yeah, we got to talk about socks afterwards.
Yeah, my bad, dude. I got like really busy around the time that. Yeah.
Anyway, we should not talk about our business ventures on the podcast.
It's the perfect place to talk about that. But it's great. I mean, G, I know you said your updates, like you're working a lot. Do you have any tips for any newcomers in the industry that want to keep their head on their shoulders and their minds sane?
Stay healthy. It's very easy to say, and I have to admit I've been pretty hypocritical. We spent quite a few minutes on previous episodes talking about how essential it is to stay healthy while we're working and engaging in our hobbies and having good food and whatever. But a lot of it kind of goes out the window once the amount of hours increases, and that's kind of what's happened to me in the past couple months. Some of the hobbies I have, like Muay Thai and this kind of stuff, just kind of hit a wall as I've gotten busy. And I think apart from like time spent doing that, another taxing thing is like the factor of mental exhaustion. It's one of those things. Even if if I work 12 hours a day for 3 days and then I work 8 hours a day the following day, it doesn't mean that 8-hour day I have the energy to suddenly cook a healthy meal or go to my favorite activity, because my mind is so drained. I just want to sit in one space and just be like a mammal.
Yep.
What do you generally do in that situation? Like, if you would you put like hard and fast rules in where like I always am just going to go for a walk at lunch, or would you pre-book things, or like what's your? Because I've been there as well, man. Like I used to try and do like when we're in the office, do walks in my lunch break just around London parks or something, which kind of helped. But what's that? How do you do it? Like, what's your kind of go-to?
I don't. I mean, I don't want to say I'm like the best staple for it. I think what you just said, like making it a mandatory thing to do something that's maybe not super committal, like walking in a park. And in your case, I would definitely call it parks in park.
Park in a park.
Yeah. It's my
But no, it's just
podcast.
like it needs to. I think setting boundaries would be a good way, especially something that doesn't require a whole lot of time. Something that you can just go reset. And back in the day when I used to smoke, smoking is the worst thing you can do, of course, but it is a way to step out and reset. Not that you need a cigarette to do that, but a byproduct. If there's one healthy product, kids, please do not smoke. If there's one like healthy thing that happens out of it, it's just like
going outside
mental
for 5
reset.
minutes or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, I never used to smoke, but I would always use the smoker's excuse to go out and hang out with the smokers outside on either the balcony or the patio or something. And I would always take the opportunity to like have a chat with them. And it would like, I was still being healthy. I'd grab a water or whatever, Coca-Cola or something, and I'd just go out to the balcony and I thought it was great. I understood why they did it because it was like a breakaway and nobody can really mess with you when you say stuff like that. But obviously, I didn't pick up the healthy habit. I think I was probably with you a lot of times, G, when you were when we were at Luma or something.
But the thing,
yeah.
But out of interest, G, like, because what I find, the thing I have to always remind myself is when I just want something. G's just slowly getting darker and darker.
Just falling into a black hole.
Slowly the lights go. The thing I always have to remind myself is like when I'm frustrated or when I'm trying to find the look of something or fix something, I find it very hard to step away, right? Because you're like, right, I'm gonna fucking just keep banging my head against the wall trying to do it. Like, you've got more experience than me. How is that something you have to remind yourself a lot, or will you just force yourself to refresh your eye and just go for like 5 minutes, even if it's just outside the room or something? Like, how do you remind yourself to do that? Or maybe you don't. Maybe it's the same thing.
Realistically, so when the hours are like, I don't know, in a week, when the hours are like 40 to 45, I think it's really easy. When you're involved in a serious crunch, it becomes harder because the reason you're doing those hours is because you need to be locked in to finish a product, unfortunately. And I want to say on paper, theoretically, that is the time to do it. That's when you need to set up boundaries the most. But when you're mentally locked in, it's practically speaking, it's a bit harder. So I don't know, maybe from this conversation, it becomes a reminder for me or anybody listening to just set that boundary. I mean, I know it sounds like it's the most important thing in the world to have this thing daily by 4 p.m. But the amount of cumulative exhaustion it's putting on you every day to not take that 5-minute walk builds
Also,
up and builds
out
up
of
over
interest, because I'm definitely noticing it, as we get older, you're finding it's harder to do these like longer hours and stuff. Like when I was young, I feel like I could do it way more than I can now.
Hell yeah, it's harder.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, you and I at Luma, like 24, 23 years old, man.
We were just talking about this right before this, and like, I was like, you imagine that when you get older, you do it less. But also, when I remember back when I was really young, we were amongst people that were already in their 40s probably. And they were right there with us, and G and I would come on, old timer, you can't stay until midnight. What's wrong with you?
What are you, soft?
Yeah, you half day. You going home early?
It's
so,
like,
like,
to 6, you're like, fuck this.
Yeah, but it's maybe it has never been like an age thing. Maybe you just I don't know. Unless you're going in. Well, I was gonna say unless you're promoted to other like soup positions, but the VFX soup is also there. So it's even if you get into higher positions, you're also doing late hours, or if you're the CEO or if you're whatever.
I mean, if not more.
Yeah. I mean, G's reached the light now. She's got off to heaven now.
The whole reason I stepped away from supervision is to not, be in super intense situations. Just especially if we treat this as if it's a super long-term thing. If I'm, my career is not just a phase, it's something that I see myself doing for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 plus more years. You do have to factor in longevity, and if the day-to-day environment is stressful, then you have the power to make a change.
I do think though work from home makes it a little easier though, right? Because what I find is you can put a render on it and you can just go for a 5-minute walk or whatever, whereas in the office sometimes there's a little bit more social pressure to constantly be, do you know what I mean? Like it's a little easier to put a render on and do something and come back, and rather than it's 1 a.m, I've got to wait 50 minutes for this render because the render farm's slammed and all of this kind of thing. So it does make it a little easier.
I think I disagree with you a little bit, Josh, because I think that depends on the person. And if you're really good at you're really good at reminding yourself of like stepping away, or if you feel guilty of like, oh, I'm stepping away, and well, I think in the office you almost get more opportunities because then there's like this spontaneous conversation, or like, hey, let's go get a cake or something, and like walk around, and you kind of don't have that excuse when you work from home unless your partner's asking to like leave or something. But like, I think it can actually be beneficial to be around the people because then you get those breaks that you don't even kind of realize are happening.
And when your brain capacity is like 20%, as in crunch time, then I think actually going to the office like forces you to be like either in or out that state. In home is like a bit more dispersed, and if you don't have like the capacity to like execute the actions you want to do because you're so tired, then maybe just being out of the office and not being able to work just helps. And at least for me in home, it's so much like dispersed whenever I get like crunch time or something.
Yeah, I think it's also the work environment too. I mean, if they're staring at you with security cameras or something, like I guess it's not very. Yeah, if you step away from your desk or like they're making you clock in or something like that. But I've always found this company's pretty lenient on that stuff, especially in London. They were pretty lenient.
I think a good key point you made though is like it does really kind of depend on the person and what exhausts them and kind of what they derive energy from. Because on one end, like a trip to the kitchen or whatever, and you have a quick coffee break and you have a chat with somebody, this can be a nice reset and this can be energizing. But if you just want a coffee and conversations exhaust you, then maybe that situation isn't the best thing for you.
Speaking of that, I remember getting a taxi home from NPC when we'd just been doing crazy hours for a long time, and I had a few taxis where the guy was just, this was a little, obviously like 10 years ago or something, when Uber was just starting up. The whole way home, the guy for like 40 minutes just moaning about Uber. And it was just like, oh, dude, I can't do this right now, dude. So R2R, I used to be such a diva. I'd just get in with headphones on, like my massive headphones, just to make a point of like, I can't, like, I'm really sorry.
I did the exact same thing when I was in Australia. I would go home at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and it was like a long drive. It was like 45 minutes or something like that in the car. And I would go in and be like, hey, I'm sorry, man. I got done a really long day at work and I can't talk, can't even think. So I'm just going to listen to some music if that's okay. And I would just like let them know, because there were so many times the guy was like having a chat about life and I'm like, I can't, I'm like not even functioning, I'm falling asleep.
Especially in that midnight taxi ride home when you're just exhausted. You've been working all day and the company like calls you a cab or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Adrián, out of interest, because obviously like when you're supervising, it's very different, right? Because you're context switching a lot. Like when you're a comper, you're kind of all in on like a few shots and this kind of thing. And sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture of everything, which is why it is quite useful, I guess, to be in the office. But for you, when you're supervising doing long hours, it's very much, right? Like you might do a client call, then you're talking to production, scheduling and this kind of thing. Like, is it just different? Like are there any different things you were doing to deal with that, or?
No, I think it's a very big part is again what's your profile and which parts of the day are draining you and which ones are not. So in my case, just having the full picture of the project and adding notes and all that like gives me energy. But having to like have shitty conversations that I don't want to have, like management or all of that area, like that's what drains me. So in some way, when I'm like in full production and for some reason I have to supervise a project, which I'm not doing so much right now as I'm more in the managerial things, unfortunately. So yeah, it just, I don't know. I guess the worst part is not being able to fully switch off at any point, because you know there's people that depend on you to finish their thing, and then you have to like kind of own that responsibility for others. And
Yeah.
I guess for me that's the worst part. But yeah,
Do you find yourself needing a lot of like alone time to kind of recharge, Adrian, of like
Yep.
stepping away and like
Yep.
do you find that with like walking, because you live next to kind of like this national park or something, like do you find that walking around there?
yeah, just sunlight helps me a lot, like reset, not just being outdoor, but like wind and sunlight, and just going back to not just supervision itself, but any like tough situation or long hours or something. Something I've learned through the years is that, like, even if you have an expectation for this is the kind of thing I need to do to stay healthy, and then you really need to lower your expectation and your bar, and otherwise you'll get frustrated from not even reaching 10% of what you wanted. But it's like you have to acknowledge you're not able to do that much and be like, okay, if I just manage to be outside for 2 minutes, maybe that's just enough for me, or even less. Or if I cannot do sports, maybe I can just take a brief walk once a day, something, and then that gets you in the positive loop in some way. At least myself.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have to reiterate the running thing that I do. Like I run a lot during lunch, especially if it's a really nice day. So like I think it does so. I'm trying to like self-analyze why I like it so much, because you could just say it's good for your body and your exercise and stuff like that. I think it really helps like it twofold. And one is like if you have a problem, you're kind of working it out and you're thinking about stuff. And two, if you're like stressed or mad or something about something, that it's really distracting, because you're kind of like looking at like there's a lot of folks that are walking in the park and you're kind of just like people watching as they're running by, and you're really distracted. You know, you really, or like there's some construction going on that wasn't there yesterday. Or it's like, you know, it's like there's a lot that's happening in the world that's outside of whatever's happening in your mind. That's like takes your mind away from whatever you were stressing about or thinking about. And I always feel better. Like I've never like gone for a run and felt worse ever. So you feel good about yourself. You feel like whatever the problem was, maybe you worked it out, or you're less stressed about the thing that you were stressed about. It's nice.
You're kind of tapping into something primal there, right? Something that we kind of evolved doing over so many years that's been crucial to our, I guess, survival and thriving as like bipedal creatures. We evolved doing this for thousands of years, as opposed to sitting in a chair at a desk with an LED light in front of us. That's something new to us, and we haven't really figured out the health logistics of it yet.
Did you have the walking pad, G?
Yeah.
Did you ever use it? Does it ever? I have seen people use it before.
I use it. Lately, it's ironic. Like I bought it to use it when in the situations where I'm stuck at my desk. But the more fatigued I am mentally, the less I want to use it. Every day, my wife's like, "Did you use your walking pad today?" No. Use your damn walking pad, Gavin.
Yeah.
But it is like your willpower goes down, right? Like that part goes down as well, like the more tired you are. So it is harder to do this stuff.
Because you're basically trying to save the best part of your energy for whatever time of the day unless like all day long you're problem solving. But let's say you're like spending most of the day waiting for a render and you need to be really active at night because the render's going to come at 6 p.m. Like you kind of have to adjust yourself so you're ready to go at 6 p.m. instead of 10 a.m.
Yeah, but I hate that shit because you're in like fight or flight all day, I find. I'm like, right, let's go. Like you're thinking about all day. So you're not really just chilling out and then suddenly being on, right?
You gotta go into hibernation mode and just
dude, the worst thing, and I've had it a few times, it's like recently, it's like, right, Monday you're going to get the renders and the thing's got to go Monday evenings. So you can't chill out the weekend because you're just thinking about what you need to do and what you're going to do if this breaks and this breaks. And it's like, oh God, like you'd almost be better to not know whether the renders are coming out or not. It's, yeah, and I think more and more, I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding we're getting less time in comp to really polish stuff, and we're getting put in more situations 100%. Where it's like, you've got 2 days to make this thing now.
Everything's being compressed.
Yeah. Do you think that's kind of the way the industry is going to go? Like, or do you think...
100%, yeah. We're competing against many different things, but we're competing against things that are doing our jobs faster than us, or people who are tapping into workflows that are experimental but maybe faster, getting better results or quicker. And like not only that, but the shows, they expect us to work faster and deliver faster and stuff, and they expect automation, basically. Like,
But I don't think that's because of AI, though, right? Like, it's not like they're
it's
saying.
not just because of AI.
well,
No,
yeah.
but like the field hasn't progressed enough to meet up with the demands of what like Hollywood wants. And like they want their whole show like done, and they're like, well, this shot looks the same as that other shot. Why can't it just be done at the same time? Blah blah blah. So
There are aspects though that are being used by AI that I hadn't seen maybe that I started seeing maybe like within the past 3 years. One of them being concept art for sure. A few films I've been on where somebody would normally be hired to draw up certain stills and concepts or even a storyboard, and a lot of time now it's like an executive or a director or just maybe somebody in creative that's generated some stills, given it to a VFX company and said, I want it to look like this.
yeah, there's a lot of pressure going on there because they're like, oh, why could they get 90% done and you can? And it's like, oh, we're doing it the correct way and we're going through all the pipeline and it's like we don't care. We got something look pretty cool. Why can't you just get that result quick? So it's like quick result versus doing it correctly. But
Tony, send him the toilet meme, man. That's what the toilet meme's for. Just send him the toilet meme.
that's why the meme is so good.
But as G said, like, I've been hearing about them doing style transfers. They'll take the concept art that the client knocks up and then just do like a quick style transfer on a model or an asset or whatever, right? To kind of give a rough idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, if you have, disregarding AI, if you have company A and they figured out a way to automate things so that they can do a multi-shot workflow, and you have company B who hasn't done that yet, the client is going to sit there because they're working with many companies. They're going to be like, well, why is it taking you so long when we can give it to company A and they're going, they can do the whole sequence all at once. And that's not a AI thing. That's like a evolution in our field of
it's a workflow pipeline thing.
Yeah, people needing to do more for less and just automations and stuff. And people are getting pretty good at that. And they're wondering why the other companies, and we're not talking to there's no like, for anybody that's new in the industry, there's no like global company where everybody gets together and shares workflows and stuff. I mean, the best you got is like maybe people coming from other companies and kind of saying, oh, we were doing it like that at the other place. But there's no like, Davos meeting for VFX companies, I don't think.
That'd be amazing.
I think one other practical result of companies closing as well has been another like catalyst of the deadlines being super rushed, because as we know, in the past couple of 2-3 years, we've seen quite a few places close down. And what happens to their work when they close down? Of course, it gets shipped to other companies. So if you happen to be in one of those companies that pick up that work, then the deadline of that film doesn't change, but the company that closed just handed all that work to you. So now you got to get it done quickly.
Yeah, and it's not as easy as we all know as like, oh look, I just open up the new script they were doing at this studio and start, because it's like pipeline. Like for instance, like Groom, right, is Frame Store have their own thing, and NPC had their own thing, and like it's sometimes you can't just open up and go where they left off, basically, which clients probably think we can do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Do you think, out of interest, that what makes a good compositor in the future will change slightly then? Because I am starting to see there's compositors who think in terms of workflows and bigger, like they can knock out a sequence by themselves. That's kind of like a type of comp that was less, I guess, useful in the past. And then obviously I think you're still gonna have the compers that can just smash out the like beautiful hero shots, right? Like 3 or 4 per show or something of these like really beautiful shots. I kind of see it as like those are the two big areas that I'd be specializing in.
I think before it was more common to have a fewer number of VFX shots that were really, and you'd save the budget for the really big ones. But now it's more common that we're doing whole shows when every shot has VFX, and the volume there means that not that the person doing the super creative, like I can get any creative shot done, is less valuable, but the person working on the workflows and the automations is more valuable because there's more volume of shots.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you need to be thinking in terms of systems, basically.
Some people
rather
do.
than like, I am noticing the people that have got that skill are starting to be valued more at certain studios. I would say,
Well,
like,
it's just
people
whoever's gonna
are
get
starting to
you-
get noticed who can knock out a whole sequence by themselves.
It's who's gonna get you the profit. Like, what's the profit based on? Is it the 1 mega shot? Well, then that person's it's the person who can do the 1 mega shot is gonna give you the most profit because that's where all the budget is. But if the budget is sprinkled amongst 100 shots, then the person who can deliver the 100 shots is going to be the one who, because basically if you don't do the one shot that's huge, you don't get paid. But if you don't deliver all the 100 shots, you also don't get paid. So like you need to adjust to whatever your client is basically asking for.
Yeah, and what your execs, I guess, have bid on, and what the business model of the company is. Because some companies, their business model is to take on either lower or mid-tier shots, but multiple of them. Like you were saying before, a film that has like a bunch of shots. But other companies, their business model is to take on the hero shots. Mm. And there's few of those, so they employ the more, I guess, the creative ones, the ones that they trust to do the hero shots.
Because also, I think the shots that win you the awards, right, are those like 1 or 2 shots that you can make like a nice reel out of. But I think the big money makers are now these like 50 dialogue shots, if that makes sense, where I think they're ripe for, hey, look, we got a multi-shot set up and we're just going to run it through, and you have 3 or 4 compers who really know what they're doing, or maybe like a live group for different areas, and one person work on the background and all this kind of thing. It's
I think the key here is that the company who's really good at the automation needs to be better at the boutique stuff, and the people who are really good at the boutique stuff need to scale up their automation, because the clients are expecting both, and I think that's what's causing all these pains. And the people who are going to succeed, the companies are going to succeed, are the ones who can scale up to the volume that they need while still having the control and the individual boutique stuff. And that's why that whole like modularized stuff that we talked about on the previous episodes, where it was like, that's what I was kind of going on about there. But I mean, Adrián, you're like a classic systems thinker guy who's thinking about like the overall, like how is this fitting in all the blocks and stuff like that. But also I don't know, yeah, do you see that being like the way that things are going, or like the most profit that's being made now or something?
Totally. No, I completely agree with everything you guys said. Like, and I'm also like in Orca, we're part of a production company, so I'm seeing their incentives to build stuff for future films that, and of course touching AI, but not only. And the big pattern I see is trying to get many shots that, like let's say a sequence or a scene that they cannot build, like the proper stage or something, and they want to see if VFX can help certain aspects of it. And it's never one shot. It's always like that forest or that fortress or that interior scene. And then it's like either you are able to reskin the environment or apply whatever VFX you have to do or not. And if you do, then it's not one shot. That's where the big chunks of money and incentive to bring stuff to us, at least the ones I'm detecting right now. And I guess it fits together a lot with the fact that there's a big pressure forever, not with AI, but like for the last like 20 years to do stuff with less steps, meaning go back less departments and activate less machinery. So you put those together, and it's like you need to be able to mostly in comp have setups that, when I say comp, I don't mean compers, I mean like people that are working in that compositing environment, be able to pull out like, I don't know, systems or things that solve a number of shots. I'm just seeing that forever.
I think historically that's what's kind of separated a lot of especially in the small and medium-sized houses, that's what separated the ones that kind of survived and thrived versus the ones that didn't. I mean, apart from the business model stuff, putting the appropriate resources into modulation and some kind of working system where you can do one thing and then it applies to multiple shots has, I think it's been one of those things that's really ensured survival.
Something to take away here, I think, and I think about this all the time, probably way too much, but if I'm ever doing something, the second time I do it, I better be faster than when I did it the first time. And if companies are not doing that, and they don't, some companies just like, they bring on a team, they do a bunch of stuff, and then boof, the team disappears, that's lost to wherever on the wind, and then they're reinventing it the next time. If you're doing that, and if you go over a long enough time scale, like 10 years, like the companies who are constantly improving their workflows and their systems and like getting better, the next time it's twice as fast, the next time it's 3 times faster, those are the companies that are going to be surviving, and not the ones that are bringing on a team, reinventing a bunch of stuff. Okay, now that's all forgotten. We get a new project, bring it again. Like that's like death, I think, to companies.
But that's where it's. I think this is where it's useful to have people who have been at the studio for a while, because then they know. Oh, we did this on this show. Like, here's the setup, right? If you've got a whole new team you're hiring, and then you've got to let everyone go and then hire up again, people aren't aware of the history that's come before, or maybe assets or simulations that were done on other shows that you might be able to put in the VDB, right, and like do some stuff with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that's. I mean, to be honest, I think that's ILP's strength a little bit, is the fact that a lot of people have been there for a long time, so we can point at things that. Now, the downside of that is, then you end up doing it the way it's always been done, right? So you do need to bring in some like new ideas and new blood. And like, Tony, having your ILP has been awesome. I know you were saying you'd been speaking to Dara and just like, hey, look, this would be cool, this would be cool. So I think you do need to still be embracing that stuff, but it's cool having people who know the last 2 or 3 years of shows, who can point to things that we were doing on those shows and know where to find information.
You need both, right? It's like you need the history, and then you need the innovators, and you need like to both of them to one person to ground it, and to be like, no, we tried that in the past, and another person to kind of think up the new idea, to try the experimental side of it, and those two need to exist in harmony, to find new, better workflows.
Somewhat of a bipartisan system, you're saying?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like a conservative and maybe a liberal thinker or something. Yeah.
But the problem, the only downside though I'm finding at the moment is, because the turnaround speeds are so quick on projects, it's harder to take a risk on a. Like, okay, we're going to use multi-shot on this. Oh, fuck, like, okay, fucked us up. Okay, now we can't, like, if you've only got a few months to do a show now, it's harder to take a risk, if that makes sense. It's easier to make, like, no one's getting fired for doing things the way it's always been done. But there is a chance you get fired being like, oh, we're going to do it this way, and then it all goes wrong, if that makes sense.
The risks come also with rewards.
Of course.
So, like, yeah, you could eat your own foot, but you could discover a workflow that makes you much faster, and I guess that's just the risk, and somebody needs to do that analysis, right, of like, is it worth it or not. But I think falling into the trap of like, we can't do that because it would disrupt this and that, you're just like, the bigger risk is not improving, and then you're going to be overtaken by the company that is taking
I completely agree, but what I mean is, like, the new person in the studio, sometimes it's hard to, like, actually it's probably not a good career choice to be going in and going like, right, we should do this, right, straight on the bat. But you kind of want that a little bit, but then again, like, that's super risky to do and all this kind of thing. So I think it's easier to take those opportunities once you proved yourself for a few years. But as we said, it's maybe you're setting your ways a little bit more than right. I agree with you. I think studios should be doing that. But I think studios are finding it hard to find the room to be able to take risks at the moment, I think.
I think the environment's changing, like, under our feet. Like, the clients are rewarding the risk takers, I think. And they're kind of scoffing at the ones that are like, oh, we've been doing it 30 years, and like, okay, great, but this guy over here with their new startup is slamming it out of the park. And, you know,
dude, look at Metaphysic. Is it metaphysic.ai or whatever it is, the face replacement thing?
Like, it's kind of,
it's kind of crazy, right? Like, none of the big studios took that stuff as seriously as them, and they sold for a load of money and things.
Yeah.
So, sorry, G, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I just said the one in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did they get sold to someone else?
They were purchased by DNEG, I think.
Was it DNEG?
Yeah,
oh
wow.
DNEG.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I think they just kept the software part and fired the artists or something like that. I'm not sure.
All of them?
Oh wow.
I don't know.
Damn.
Nah, not all of them. I think they kept a few people.
They kept an AI.
You guys remind me of something that we probably should mention in the podcast, which is some very sad news along the same lines of the NPC closing. But there was news that Sony is shutting down Pixomondo, which is very sad, because Pixomondo has been a pretty big company globally for at least 20 years. So, like, I mean, it's been around longer, but like, it was there, I don't know, 15 years ago. I was in Shanghai Pixomondo, so I mean,
and that was your first international thing.
That was my first international company, and at that point, they were like 14 offices around the world. It was like truly one of the first like global, like with the global idea of setting up many offices, many places. It didn't work out too well for them at that point, but you know, they kind of scaled back, and they were doing pretty good. And I mean, they got really famous for doing the dragons on Game of Thrones. Which I guess they had something in their contract that they would like always be the ones that had the dragons in any Game of Thrones or House of Dragons. So like because they did the dragons for season 1 or 2, it was like they they had to keep coming back to them, or maybe they just kept coming back to them because that was their
Kicked out good work.
Maybe they had the automation, the Dragon automation.
They were
and
like
not
the
other
Dragon
companies.
people. But it's incredibly sad, and I mean, I gotta say, I think it's incredibly sad that Sony viewed it as like, look, we need to shut this down versus selling it, because obviously if you sell it, you're selling it to maybe a competitor like Netflix or something. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's sad that like the choice. Apparently they made a choice that was like, and this is hearsay, so I don't know, but apparently they were like, we don't want to sell it. We're just going to close it down or absorb the tools internally or give it to Sony ImageWorks or something. I don't know, but it's they're doing their last project now. I'm not even sure what it is, but it's going to close down, I think, this year after they're done with all their projects. After they wrap in like September maybe. I'm not sure, but
why is that though? Out of interest, because like you've seen a few German studios now kind of reduce numbers or close the because the subsidies haven't changed there, right? Like the subsidies are still the same and things in Bavarian.
I don't think they've changed, but they haven't improved either. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason. I can't say like, because I mean, Pixomondo is operating in many places, Vancouver for one, but their main office I don't even think was in Germany anymore. Their headquarters might have been, but I don't think it has really anything to do with German VFX in particular.
Okay. It's just
I think Sony just made a decision. Honestly, there's a lot of shifts that are happening in these huge companies now, especially with AI. You see these they're like firing thousands of people because they found out a way to automate. It doesn't strike me as so far-fetched that they're like they want to put their interest and their money elsewhere, and they thought that it was.
But out of interest, like you mentioned that, I haven't seen that in visual effects. I haven't seen them go, right, we're going to fire all of these people because of AI. I mean, maybe you could argue Marvel have just done that, but I reckon they're going to outsource it or instead do it in house.
Yeah, I just think that they're being pressured right now. It's a very competitive, like the tech world is super competitive right now, and they need to focus I mean, we can talk about Sora AI and OpenAI's decision to get rid of Sora. Because a lot of people, in my opinion, in VFX saw that as like a massive win for VFX because they realized that it wouldn't compete with VFX. When in reality, I think it's more of they needed to put their resources and their compute power elsewhere to compete with all the other competitive companies like Anthropic and stuff.
Well, a mate of mine sent me that, and I was saying, well, actually, it could be a negative, right? Because it just says, well, look, there's not enough money to make it worth disrupting our industry. It could be that as well, right? Like, oh, look, okay, look, there's more money to be made actually, like doing all this other stuff, and there's not actually as much money as it, so it's not worth disrupting our industry, if that makes sense.
I mean, our industry is like one industry. OpenAI is like going into so many industries, and I guess where they're putting their resources now, it's not just film or entertainment. It's like so much better, bigger than that.
Yeah, it's much more revenue, I think.
And there's not that much RAM available in the world or compute power. I think that they really need to focus, and especially with what's going on and the race for getting the AI in your hands, like as they're doing with Google and Anthropic now.
Yeah, all these agents, they need compute power to solve all the
it's
coding
like huge
issues.
investment from their side, and I guess they're losing lots of money right now just to get ahead of the others.
Yeah, compute for images or videos, not even images, but videos in particular. It's like so much. You need and I guess the return on that is probably not that good for them. It's like, oh, we need to put our best computers to make Josh's a meme, and that could have been like a massive coding thing that was solved the bug forever for Google or so. I don't know. Like I think they're putting their resources and they're shifting around, and you're seeing that, and we're seeing the side effect of that. So I believe that the Pixomondo thing is just a side effect of some decision that mirrors that. But I don't know.
But then you could argue as well that, like, in a world where you have to be really efficient and kick out a load of shots, it doesn't make sense to have loads of different scattered pipelines under one studio, right? It makes sense just to have, okay, like again, you just bring everyone into the Sony pipeline. Now you can kick out shots way quicker and all this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the one part I was a bit confused, and again, I don't know a lot of things about this, so I'm just talking out loud. But like, it was confusing that Sony had Sony ImageWorks, and then they also, I guess, purchased Pixomondo, and that it wasn't an announcement like we're absorbing Pixomondo into Sony ImageWorks. It was like a specific announcement of like we're shutting down Pixomondo. I found it a strange wording, or like even strange that they had two places at once. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the whole thing is.
Do you think it would have been better if they announced it as a merge and then slowly killed the other one?
I think so. Yeah, maybe they made a conscious decision not to take two brands, but just the way that they worded it, it would have made more sense to be like, hey, we're gonna just be calling like Sony Imagery. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they had some bigger reason or something. I'm not sure, but I'm not. Yeah, I found it a bit odd. I found the whole thing a bit odd, and it's. I mean, I'm here in Germany, and it's quite sad because like the market here is, or the industry here is shrinking as we speak. There was Scanline that shut down. Now Pixomondo. And some other companies are doing pretty rough right now and downsizing and restructuring. So yeah, it's not a pleasant place, but we're not the only ones. You know, it's there's other places. Josh, I don't know how London is doing. Adrian, I don't know how Spain is doing. So I don't know if they're doing well or going through the same.
Not great, not great, but yeah.
I think London seems to be okay, actually, to be completely honest with you. We seem to be, I think everyone's saying that it's going to be pretty busy in like summer and things. I don't know, again, I know I mentioned this before, but like we had Giacomo on the podcast previously, and he always said if they're shooting in the UK, it generally means that it's going to be busy because now as well, because there's no cap or something, right? Like on the amount of subsidies they can get, they're generally quite keen to kind of keep a load of stuff here. So I think that makes it easier because they shoot. I mean, Adrian was saying about this before, right? Like they shoot in Spain, they do a load of the VFX in Spain. So I think it's mostly, I think where people want to shoot seems to dictate it, right? Like a fair bit. I know Marvel was shooting on Australia a little bit as well. I mean, actually, out of interest, G, like, how's the Japanese VFX scene? Like, I know you don't work for a Japanese company at the moment, but how is? Brother,
I wish I could tell you. I like 5 minutes ago, I was like, I hope nobody asked me about how the Japanese scene is.
Oh no! You should have WhatsApped me, bro.
Do you know at all how that team that won the Oscar for Godzilla is doing? Do they have
how are they doing
shows?
now?
Yeah, like do they suddenly get an inflow of like, hey, do our Hollywood film for us or something?
If I were to guess, I think the answer would be that's probably what happened. But how about I bank that?
Yeah,
plant a seed, and I'll get back to you on the next.
Yeah, I'm super curious about that because obviously winning a VFX Oscar, that's got to be like a huge attraction for a lot of people
like
to be like, come and do art.
They've just been sleeping and recovering from their crazy hours.
Historically speaking, you probably don't want to win an Oscar in VFX because that means you're going to close soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think though, but there's a ton of more. I mean, again, G, you're the better person to like find out about this, but I know, like, I taught someone who's working for Scanline in Seoul, and he was saying it's kind of starting to go up a little bit, and they're getting more staff.
They're doing well, yeah. I mean, they have a lot of work in Korea, and if you just, I see it, I guess, because I'm closer, but they have so many shows on Netflix that are, a lot of them are pretty VFX heavy, so yeah.
There's no subsidies there, right? Like Japan doesn't have subsidies for this kind of thing, or maybe
no.
local film stuff, or yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I'm very curious about that.
I mean, it wasn't just the point about where you shoot being nutritious for having VFX. I mean, a lot of stuff still gets shot in LA, and that industry died pretty fast.
But does as much as what used to be shot in LA get shot in LA? I think there's less shooting in LA,
there's
right?
Definitely less shooting than there was.
There's less.
Yeah. But I guess G's point is that doesn't necessarily translate to the post-production. Just because the production is there, it doesn't. But a lot of these post-production incentives and the subsidies, G, is also paired with the shooting. I think it's like a whole package. Like if you shoot, then you get the subsidies for the post-production too, and it's like it all kind of makes more sense. That's what LA, I think, was lacking.
Wasn't there some kind of like political statement last year about getting more subsidies in the U.S. to
I know Trump was
rebound.
There might have been. I think California's always pushing for it. I think like they're always trying to get like more subsidies. Yeah,
I guess it was maybe like a vote for me kind of thing. But
yeah, I mean, the thing though with the States as well is the salaries are a lot higher. They're like a lot higher, right? Like that's the thing. So even if you had the same amount of subsidies as another country, like everyone's salaries are twice as much, I'd say, from what I've heard in the US. So it's like that, and just the cost of living this higher.
California compared to other places in the US, the salaries are like the labor laws in California are quite
Yeah.
Good for the artists. And I think
Yeah.
when the whole movement, not movement, when the whole like reaction to a lot of the companies closing in LA was happening, a lot of people were saying, no, it's not, it's just the subsidies. It's not nothing to do with the labor costs. But looking back in retrospect, I think it was maybe a bit of both.
It's definitely a labor cost. It's that in the like you guys said, it was like the regulations and the rules and stuff. I mean, I hear lots of stories about like, oh, just because a shoot is greenlit on Venice Beach. I think they were trying to film Baywatch or something, and they got the green light like finally to film on Venice Beach. But then it came with like a laundry list of regulations, which ended up they couldn't even film it because you have to film only these 2 hours, but not if there's this many people on the beach and not. So like it ended up like destroying their production anyways, and they had to go film it maybe somewhere else or just ruined the cost of the production. So like even if they were filming there, like it wouldn't have been profitable because they were like disrupted so much. And that's a classic like California thing. It's like even if it sounds like a sweet deal, like say tomorrow they said, you get a bunch of subsidies now. That would come with all these red tape stuff of like, oh, but only if you do this, this, and this, and this, which would hinder production. Or
you'd have to hire these unionized whatever.
You got to pay them 10 times if
like,
they work 8 hours or more or something. You know,
the guilds and shit.
Yeah. So
but the thing I'm seeing, like everyone I know in the States now mostly works in ads, to be honest with you, right? And then the ads don't mind paying a premium because the client wants to be close to the artists and the studios. They can go in and work quickly. So I think that's the thing, right? Like these things, films and stuff, we're saying how they sped up, but there's still big production that you can, and it's quite slow moving. So you can just send it around the world and it's not going to impact your deadline as much. Whereas on an advert, do you really want to take the risk of sending someone a bunch of shots that are due in a week just in case, or do you want to pay them double the day rate just to know what they're doing, if that makes sense, and be able to go in and things? It's a pretty interesting world, the world of like the US VFX or post-production or something. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine and he said like to hire somebody that's on a visa in the US, you have to pay like $25,000 for that person or something. So that person has to be like really, really, really good. So like they do import some folks from other countries and stuff, but like it's not like these other countries that it's basically just green. Oh, do you need this person? Great, green light. It's like they have to pay, the company has to pay for the visa or sponsorship or whatever. And there's other things too, like of the labor laws of like if you hire somebody, like they could work really hard while they're in the hiring process, and then as soon as they're an employee, they could just like take a break or and there's like nothing you can do, or it's a huge lawsuit or something. Like I suppose that could be true. Yeah, I guess that could be true for many places, but like apparently that's a big problem where it's like way better to just keep freelancers because it's just not worth it at all to like take the risk of like somebody falling asleep on the job while they're employed. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. It must be very difficult to run a company and also to work in the US right now. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Just to switch it up a bit, on the last episode, could somebody remind me, did I mention that I started shooting with film?
No.
I think a little bit, because you mentioned how it makes you really think about the shot, right, and all this kind of thing. But have you been doing? Okay. No. But not. I don't think you spoke that much about it. So like, let's go.
It's interesting how everything that comes out of this Nikon FM2 that I bought automatically has beautiful character rendering. Assuming I didn't fuck up the settings, everything comes out so pristine. It just makes me think like we had that naturally before we had raw files and were able to fuck with stuff and preserve the information in the sky so that I can change the color around or whatever. Back then, when all you had was a film strip and a knife or whatever, or a willingness to expose it for a little bit longer or a little bit less, like in that situation where your kind of back's against the wall and it has to look good, the shots just come out beautiful. And it's just been amazing to see, not that I'm calling my shit amazing, but it's just compared to when I take stuff digitally and I don't care and I can be non-committal and just hold my finger on the trigger. The stuff coming out of there looks so good, and you see it in like older productions like Alien or anything, I don't know, pre the like maybe pre-Titanic, like early 90s and 80s and 70s. Just going back and watching films from that era, you really see like everything just looks so good.
What do you think it is though? Do you think it's like proper exposure? Because I always find that things are kind of overexposed now because clients want to see all of their stuff. But like, are there any like attributes that you're seeing in your photography or for those films that you're like, like this is the difference? If I was going to give a note of how to achieve that look, what are the notes you'd give?
Have limitations.
Limitations, yeah. I mean, I think or at least I'm reacting to, maybe subconsciously I'm reacting to the imperfections in the mirror and the amount of light the amount of bouncing around the light does in the reflector, causing not a perfect image to come out. Looking at digital stuff where everything is generally perfect all the time, and then going back and seeing that, maybe it's like exotic and fresh to me, and it instantly becomes more attractive because of that. Whereas
but is it like lifted blacks, or like is it like halation and like glaring and like give us a Nukepedia plugin that we can download to achieve this look?
Give us a tool that we use.
But again, like what are the attributes though? Like is it like lifted blacks, or is it like?
The thing is, I will answer that, but so many people I feel like try. Like they'll take a film image, look at it, and then try to maybe make LUTs or make a preset. And I don't know if anybody. I thought I had it down. I thought other people that release film LUTs had it down. And then I started shooting film, and I was like, dude, this looks better than anything I could have just like applied in Lightroom. But yes, it depends on the film, of course. If it's like 400 or 800. Film, then the grain that affects the edge detail, so it's less sharp edges, it's a bit more noise especially in the black levels, it's highlights not being super bright, it's little bits of aberration, it's maybe the occasional ghosting on an edge.
You're almost saying
that kind of stuff.
That it's the difference between fixing something in post and preparing beforehand and like making sure that setup is really nice before you try to just fix it with a Band-Aid.
Do people still do that anymore?
It's pretty rare these days.
Yeah, I found it ironic because like as soon as I started doing that and like declaring my love for the film stuff, I started getting put on like really HDR looking projects. So it just makes you wonder like if the universe was just intent on kicking me in the balls, because like I think almost everything I've worked on since then has just been something with like lots of shadow in the blacks, having a bright light source like lightning, but yet we can see the detail in the blacks in the sky and this and that all at the same time.
That's tricky.
Which I guess is the trend of Hollywood over the past decade, right?
It is difficult though when your eye is like telling you one thing. Like I find that very difficult when I'm on a show where I don't necessarily naturally lean towards the look, right? Because it's kind of hard. It gets a little harder to know whether your stuff looks. I don't know. You can't judge you can't judge your stuff as easily. I guess it's tricky.
Yeah, a big part is just remembering we are just part of telling a story, and our shot is not a thing on itself. So whatever tells the story. It's a bigger picture, and then you're just part of that. So
that's how you get yourself to take that walk every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are not just like
full circle
technical node graph operators. We are like literally in the entertainment industry. So that's just a gentle reminder.
Yeah.
Take those breaks, or do the work-life pendulum like me, and just go on a really long vacation after. Yeah. I think we need to wrap it there, guys. So join us on the next time. It was a pleasure talking to you all. I hope we can do it again soon. And see you guys in the next time.
Very